Hi, it's Joe. Welcome to the Quilt Report. Today I thought, I'm just quilting along here. I thought I would show you some of my favorite tips and tricks. The way I start, the way I end, the way I baste along the edge, the way I quilt away from me, that sort of thing. So let's just get started. I'm gonna thread my needle with a long thread, and then I'm going to show you how I start. I'm doing this little two-track version, design, and the way I do is like this. I just start quilting with my long thread. I've showed you the stitch before. I measure to make sure both halves are about equal. My long thread, and I just start quilting. I leave one half sticking out. Then I'll go between the layers and do another one. Like that, right? When I'm done, I'm going to tie it off in my own certain way. But, all right, well, let's just do that. Let's say I was done right here. What I do is I go back up between the layers and I come out right on the end of a stitch. And then I do that again. I go right back under that stitch, come out right at the end of another stitch, and then I go off to the side, and out I go. Cut the thread. I don't have any knots that way. It's just all buried and wound around inside the layers. Now I thread my needle again. I just thread the other end of my thread and I finish my design. I'll go between the layers and so both ends of the thread are quilted. That's my secret of the no knots. I didn't invent this, of course. Someone else did. But that's how I start and how I stop. Now, let's say I want to get to another place that's far away, too far for one single needle length. Here's what I do. I go between the layers. Where am I going to do this? Oh, I'll do it like this. I go between the layers, and then I come up and I leave one end of the needle inside. I swing it around, push on the point, and bring the other end up. That's called waddling. You always leave one end inside the layers. Waddle, swing it around, and there I can then bring it up where I want and quilt one more design. So this design has two sides. You could see how I quilt one side and then I quilt the other. Well, what if I'm going in a direction like this? Then I use the side of my thimble, and instead of feeling for the point with my thumb, I feel with my ring finger. Here that is again. I go like this. I push on the side of the thimble and I feel for the point with my ring finger. So you can go in any direction that way. Here I'm going to tie off again. I come up on the end of a stitch, go back to another spot, the end of another stitch, and then I go out to the side and trim it. When I'm working along, sometimes I'll end up with a long enough stitch, thread to be useful. 1, 2, I'll tie a knot like that, and quilt, I'll baste the edge underneath. So this edge is loose, and it's going to be a lot easier to deal with if I'm when I'm putting the binding on, facing whatever I'm doing to the edge. It's a lot easier if that edge is secured with basting stitches. So that's what I'm going to do, is just baste along the edge. This is how I always handle my edge. Like that. So thanks for stopping by. I forgot to mention, I always keep a piece of paper on the quilt top where I leave my thread ends and my scissors and my number 12 yarn there, and my needle. I think I'm done. I get to roll this up now. All right. Thanks for coming by. See you again.